Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. The Kenya Kwanza government is still reeling from the heat that was caused and created and perpetuated by our Gen Z. And people seem to agree with our young people. And they're saying, you have done a good job. You started it. We are behind you. Go to the fullest. Don't give up. And William Ruto also alluded to the fact that our youth need to be heard. And he invited them. He told them, we will talk. And at some point, he was looking for their leaders, that the leaders come so that they can, sit down and talk. Something that Kenyans opposed. And Kenyans were telling the Gen Zs that these are archaic methods of dealing with youths. In the past, in the Nyayo era, Moi used to identify student leaders. Then they would be bribed or dealt with. Many times they would be given some money, then they betray their fellow colleagues. And this is what many Kenyans thought William Ruto wanted to use. But something that is really funny about the youth is that Gen Z seems to be amorphous. They are very active, very explosive, but at the same time very calm, but they don't have leaders. You've seen the government of recent launching an attack and abduction of people who they thought were the leaders, people like Gabriel Oguda, just to find out, because people like Gabriel Oguda are tweeting and they are championing and advocating for the rights of these youth, and they share their messages. So the government really wanted to understand, nyinyi ambao mna post hizi vitu, could you by any chance know who is funding, who is the leader? And they have arrested, they have questioned people. No one seems to know the real leaders behind the Gen Z. And perhaps to understand that the Gen Z, this group does not have any leader, there's this viral video where Boniface Mwangi, a renowned activist, a man who is respected, he's been championing for the rights of the downtrodden. He went to cool down Gen Zs, and it was past time. He was trying to convince them and persuade them to walk out of the streets and go home, I think maybe to fight another day. I don't know what was happening there. These people told him off, you are not our leader. Some of them even, it almost, became violent. And they were telling him, toka hapa, hatuendi, just to show him that sisi hatuna leader. You will not come here and tell us, because it seemed like some people wanted to take over. Just kindly have a look at this short clip.
The people's president. Who's our
Yes, so this tells you that they don't want to be owned. The Gen Zs do not want the government to start accusing them that, they are being funded by some politicians, like they had started, that it was maybe Raila or who. Now, when William Ruto succumbed to their pressure and withdrew the Finance Bill 2024 and returned it to parliamentarians, William Ruto thought that with this, they would cool down. But they're not cooling down anymore. In fact, the momentum is increasing. So they released fresh new demands to William Ruto, just to show you that things are not going to, there's no normalcy any soon, and they're not going to leave any stone unturned. And I want us to look at these demands that have been put forward by Gen Z, and they're telling William Ruto, if you don't implement this, then our war will continue. And I want us to look at these demands one by one, ladies and gentlemen. Please subscribe to our channel if you're watching us for the first time, and click the notification bell if you love our show. YouTube will automatically notify you whenever we release a video. Please give this video a thumbs up. This goes a long way in promoting this video. And like help us share our videos. Thank you very much to those who share our video, those who share their comments. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to look at these demands by Gen Z because they are a serious group. They don't care. Number one, Gen Z is telling William Ruto that change Kenya Kwanza leadership lineup in parliament. They don't want Kimani Chungwa because Kimani Chungwa is the majority leader in the National Assembly, but he's very arrogant. The arrogance of Kimani Chungwa was seen when Gen Z, or they were telling those who had voted yes that we don't even want to see you talking in churches, in places where we are. Kimani Chungwa got an opportunity and was telling them, mimi ndiye niliongoza all those 204 members of parliament and we voted in that bill. It is good. And he was telling the Gen Zs that no, nyi mnafika tao mkitumia Uber, mko na iPhones, Apple machines, gadgets, and then you go to KFC to take your crunchy meals. And Gen Z did not like it because they were being trivialized as people who are seeking for people who just go for selfie and they are cloud chasing. So they're telling William Ruto, Kimani Chungwa must go. The National Assembly majority chief whip is Silvanus Osoro, another young arrogant man, and they are telling William Ruto hawa lazima waende. That is the demand for William Ruto, and I don't know whether William Ruto will succumb to this, but they seem to be serious because this is what they have put forward. So that number one in the list is he must change the leadership in the National Assembly. I don't know why they want a new leadership. I don't know how this is going to help them, but that is what Gen Z want, and I know they have a reason why. Number two, ladies and gentlemen, is that they are saying lifestyle audit of fleshy state officers. We have seen even the institutions that deal with the corruption are saying that they saw leaders who a few days ago were not as rich, but today they have expensive watches and expensive clothes and they put on the best attire in town. To be very precise, they mentioned Murkomen. They said that Murkomen is now putting on Rolex watches that cost millions of shillings. Of course, when Murkomen was asked, he said he's got penchant for, he loves, some nice watches, and he spends a lot on them. But that is not the only member or minister. There has been a lot of wastage. We have members of parliaments or leaders of Kenya Kwanza who recently we saw them. They were not as rich as they are today. We have also seen and heard that people are buying houses, and the Gen Z is saying we have to do a holistic lifestyle audit of fleshy state officers. Mtu ana earn maybe 600,000 and he's got big houses. Kenya Kwanza just got to office two years ago. Within 2 years, even if you start saving, ladies and gentlemen, that is not sufficient enough to now manage you to help you buy bungalows in Mombasa. I understand that they even buy some bungalows outside Kenya. So the Gen Z is saying you must do a lifestyle audit, and I agree with them. Even the IMF had alluded to the fact that there is a lot of wastage. The Auditor General and the Control of Budget have always complained about all this wastage. So lifestyle audit, tunaanza na nani? I think tunaanza na William Ruto himself, tunaenda kwa Gachagua, and all the leaders, people like the economic advisor, Ndi, we have to look at them and do a lifestyle audit. Number three, they're telling William Ruto, fire corrupt cabinet secretaries. If there is something that is long overdue, and if William Ruto wanted to redeem his image, he would have fired corrupt cabinet, members of the cabinet. The problem is that when they were incorporated into the cabinet, even the cases that they had vanished, including the DP. But I heard the NIS boss telling DP that we have only wrapped your cases because you have the tag of the DP. Shelve that tag and you will know that you're on your own. And maybe this is also going to the cabinet ministers. Let them not think that their cases are gone. Maybe it's just wrapped up. But the Gen Z is telling William Ruto, fire them. And I think when you fire them, they must face the full force of the law so that we remain a corruption free country. There's been this talk in town that when William Ruto was campaigning, he never once mentioned corruption. The only thing he said about corruption was that he was not going, or he will not use corruption to target those who are not reading from the same page politically as them, because they had claimed that Uhuru Kenyatta was misusing the fight against corruption to target those who had sworn allegiance to him. Rigathi Gachagua said too that the DCI used to come very early in the morning. They sojourn to his house when he's still in his pajamas, and they want to arrest him in front of the family. So William Ruto never talked of fighting corruption. In fact, it was Azimio that talked about corruption. Raila said, I know the loopholes. I know the channels where they siphon money. I will seal them, and this is how we'll give the 6,000 to those who are not working. This is how we will give free education from the CBC level, from the baby class all the way to the university. So they are telling them, William Ruto, fire corrupt cabinet secretaries. They are also saying, abolish the housing levy. Now, Hapa, they are touching on Ruto's nerves, because one of the pet projects of William Ruto was housing levy. He knows this is fetching a lot of money, and it has been passed. They are telling William Ruto, if you want us to sit down and talk, if you want us to know that you are serious, it is not just about retrieving the bill, but this, abolish the housing levy. The housing levy really made William Ruto mad. This is the time when William Ruto said he's got a sword to deal with those who are not reading from the same page as him. That is the time he accused some arrogant, politicians and leaders trying to sabotage his agenda, his development agenda in courts, and he said he was not going to allow it. This is the time, because of the housing levy, when William Ruto said that he would not obey court orders, because he was saying some people are using the courts to derail his agenda. But the Gen Z is saying you must abolish. The other one is review salaries of MPs. Hey, sijui Ruto atakuwa mgeni wa nani. They're telling William Ruto, our wanakula sana. They are being paid a lot of money. So review, because it is the MPs who've got a lot of packages, and they pass the finance bill because they know they have money. Awata feel sana. So they are saying one of the things you must do, people like Osoro and Kimani Chungwa and all this, you must reduce their salary, review it coming downwards. Hapa ndio utajua kuna wene inchi na wana inchi. Hapa ndio utajua we only have two tribes in Kenya, the haves and the have-nots. Try to touch their salaries. Na hapo ndio utaona hata wale wazimio wanasema hapo umeguza pabaya. Hapo ndio utaona Kimani Chungwa and Opiyo Wandayi are good friends. Yes, na hapa you've gotten into their nerves, but the Gen Z is saying you must. And I think this is the prerogative of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. We want to see how William Ruto is going to maneuver. Now, the next one is create more opportunities for the youth. This was one of the campaign gimmicks that William Ruto used, that he will create opportunities for the youth. Youths don't have jobs, by the way. It's not that we have lazy youth. Kenya, by the way, is a very strong nation. When you wake up very early in the morning and you see people, some walking on the streets, some walking to town, to the industrial area, some just walking to go. They have some vibanda, anaenda kuuza chai pale asubuhi. Kenya is a working nation. People love work, but there are no jobs. We have youths with certificates. There are no jobs. Others have even tried. Like I know many who are experts in IT, so they have decided to open their own businesses. Mwingine unaona amefungua cyber pale, nini, but taxes, the condition for doing business is not really conducive. Some others who have got shops, the purchasing capacity is down, and they are downtrodden, and they are now telling William Ruto, you have to create opportunities. And by creating opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, you know that the levies that were given, that were contained in the Finance Bill 2013, where Finance Bill 2023, where we increase the levy on fuel and fuel products, and that goes a long way in increasing the cost of production. So, and some investors ran away. So the youth are saying, you must bring them back, you must create more opportunities for the youth. Number 4, abolish funding first lady and second lady offices. People have been asking one question, ladies and gentlemen. When we voted, or those who voted for William Ruto, let me just say, when we voted for William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, let's assume so. Did we also vote for the offices of the first and the second lady? They are getting millions of shillings, and I don't understand what they're doing with it. Paying prayer bands. I mean, honestly speaking, even if we wanted to fund those offices, it cannot come at a time when Kenya is grappling with unemployment and lack of there's no money even in schools. Doctors are going on strike because they want increment. I mean, CBC and JSC teachers are up in arms with the government. County governments are not getting their money, and then you still want to fund offices of Mama Rachel and Bibi Rigathi Gachagua, hata Bibi wa Musalia Mudavadi. Even if we wanted to agree as a nation that they be given something, not now. So Gen Z is saying, toa hii pesa. Kimeumana. And they are going to lock horns with William Ruto. Si William Ruto ndiye alianza akasema kujeni tuongee. Now they are setting this agenda. Hizi ndio tunataka. And Kenyans will agree with them. I can assure you. The only thing that they should have added here ni ile pesa the government advisors are given people like Ndi. They are getting a lot of money for nothing. Because if you want to know that Ndi is doing nothing, the William Ruto has decided he declined to sign the finance bill, and this was their project. The other one is reduce wastage in government, including travel. Kila saa. In fact, it is because of all this finance bill that we've seen William Ruto for more than a week in this country. He will fly. Hata sahi nikiongea sijui kama ameenda. There's a lot of wastage. Every Sunday, unapata wameenda for prayer rallies. Magari, ministers, members of parliament, even the money that they give in harambes in churches, millions of shillings, and you wonder, where do they get this money when we have people who don't have jobs and don't have money? People can't afford a meal in a day. Unapata, Rais ametoka mahali anaenda he's going to launch maybe a project, maybe a school or something. And when he goes there, he has got a whole convoy of cabinets with him, with fuel guzzlers. If you look at the money that we spend, where all this, whenever the president is traveling, then you know that we are wasting. The other day when he declared the planting day, that holiday where people are planting trees, each and every cabinet minister was given a chopper to fly. And you wonder, is this beneficial to Kenya? How is it benefiting us? It's not. So James is saying reduce wastage, and in fact they are not saying eradicate wastage. Yani wamempatia hata hiyo leeway, reduce. Unaona, reduce that wastage, because there's a lot of wastage you can even see, and they're telling the president hapa kimeumana, lazima wache. The last one, they're saying decline to recreate position for chief administrative secretaries. Wewe, I'm telling you, the youths wameamua, the Gen Z wameamua, and they're telling William Ruto, people like Omanga and Kidero, Dennis Itumbi, you know, he rewarded his friends, the chief administrative secretaries, that was declined in court. So it was later taken to parliament by Kimani Chungwa, and members of parliament, through their theatrics, decided to amend it, and now it has come. And they even told William Ruto that now we don't have limit. The last one were about 22 or what. Now they are saying you can appoint as many as you can. In a government where William Ruto is talking of austerity measures, in a government where William Ruto is saying that we want to cut down on traveling. Remember the other time he went to the US with a private jet that cost Kenyans 200 million. These are the things that the Gen Z is saying. So Gen Z is saying decline to recreate these positions, and they are real, and Kenyans will agree with them. Unatuambia hakuna pesa. Perhaps these are the reasons why they want to force it down the throat of people, the finance bill 2023, the finance bill 2024, so that we can, get money to pay all these chief administrative secretaries. Why do we need them? We have a cabinet secretary, we have a principal secretary, a PS. 2 people, professional, doing their job. Why do we need to have them? Why do we need to add them, these CSs? They are 2 years into office. Kuna kitu imeharibika kwa sababu hatuona ma CSs. So the Gen Z is saying you must decline to recreate these positions. Do you agree with the Gen Z? I fully agree with them. And William Ruto is a worried man because they thought it was going to be a mere, smear campaign here and there. The Gen Z is real, and they're saying we have to fight for our rights. Rights that are real and tangible, and you can look at them and you see they are serious. I agree with them. What about you?